Welcome to this week's episode of EThekwini Matters. My name is Zimbili Mazibuko, your host. Over the past few years, the city has experienced several disaster-related incidents that caused damage to infrastructure, resulting in injuries and fatalities. Such disasters carry a heavy cost on people, the economy, and infrastructural resources. Today in studio, we are joined by Jotham Khumalo, who is the manager of disaster management in the city, who is going to speak to us about the city's flood relief plan. Sigbingelele Joe on EThekwini Matters. Siyaphila kakhulu, and it's nice to have you in studio today.
Thank you very much.
Now let's talk about the floods that caused damage, injuries and fatalities in Durban. How much impact has this had on the city's infrastructure and the lives of people in general?
Okay, maybe let's start with the infrastructure damage that we've had. We've had damages to road infrastructure, the road furniture, the bridges, your signs, your connecting small roads, and also major infrastructure that was reported was on the clinics, the city's libraries, but fortunately none of those were suspended due to these incidents. We've also had swimming pools that were damaged, and also services could not be rendered as a result of this heavy rain. So it did have a major impact on infrastructure. Secondly, we unfortunately, sadly lost a lot of lives. We've lost a total of up to 12 people that have been recorded to have been perished as a result of these floods. And one of them is still missing, as we all know. The search and rescue teams are still conducting a search and rescue. So as soon as that person has been found, we will then assist with the family with the burial assistance as a matter.
So how many people were affected by the recent floods, as well as trying to find out the interventions that the city is giving those people?
Okay, in terms of households, we had 853 more or less houses. We must remember that the assessments are still ongoing on the ground, and then 575 of those are houses that have been partially damaged and not severely damaged. But the total damage houses, or the houses that cannot, where people cannot live in, or it is unsafe for them to live in, is 268. And then the total number of people is 3,379.
There are people in Lamontville who were relocated. Can you tell us about that?
Okay. The Lamontville incident is a very unfortunate one because the people that passed on in that incident tried to move to higher ground, to a safe area. However, they were swept away by the heavy current of the water. So those people who survived were all moved to a community hall in Chatsworth, where as an immediate emergency response. And then they only spent, about 98 of them were relocated that same night who were severely affected. But the following day, all departments played their role: Department of Education, Department of Health, your social workers went there to do assistance, to conduct assistance, and human settlements. And then on that day after, I think it was the 28th, where those people were relocated to a safe shelter in the CBD, where they were also provided with humanitarian relief and assistance, while the others that were not so severely affected were moved to the hall, which was on the second day. They also spent one night in the hall while arrangements were being made to relocate them to the safe place in the CBD. I can safely say that all those people are now housed in a BNB, and also still the departments are providing assistance in terms of education is looking at on measures to get the children to school. Department of Health is looking at those who lost their medication, how they can assist them, and also psychosocial support, which is very important for the families who've lost their loved ones, and also for the families or the people who've experienced those people losing their lives, because they lived in one community. It is a very small community where people know one another. And then also our assistance was provided in terms of relocating them using buses and trucks, where their furniture was also taken to a storage by, fortunately, the National Human Settlements assistance.
There were also cemeteries that were affected and corpses that were exposed. Are there plans to assist the families maybe with reburials?
Yes. As a responsible municipality to our community, I think the Constitution states as such, we must ensure that our communities are safe at all times. And not only those that are living, and also those that have been buried. So one of the things that was done by our Parks, Recreation and Culture Department, they've conducted an assessment, and the assessment has revealed that eight people's graves was washed away, and a meeting was held with those families, those affected families, to look at measures to rebury the people on another grave while we rehabilitate the affected cemetery.
Just out of curiosity, the graves that were washed away, was it old graves, or was it those who were still very new?
At this stage, I can say it was new graves, but we will dig deeper into exactly how old the graves were, and then provide maybe a positive response in terms of the number of years that those graves were there for.
Now let's talk about the impact that the floods had on the city's economy and infrastructure.
Okay, so yeah, we know that flooding does have a very negative impact on the economy especially of the limping economy of the country. When disasters happen, or when all these incidents happened, roads were flooded. Bakeries could not get to deliver the bread, so people could not buy bread. And it's not only bakeries, it's a lot of transport. The whole food chain was affected. So people could not get to work and provide production in their companies. So that also was affected. Now you will look at the agriculture. Agriculture is the first step into providing us with food. The agriculture sector was severely affected as some of the crops washed away. And therefore, meaning that we have to wait for another period to replant those crops in order to have food production. I can confirm that the assessments are still underway in terms of the damage to critical infrastructure in the city. And the assessment has so far revealed that the estimated cost for repair, reconstruction and rehabilitation as from the 18th to the incident of the 2nd is up to a tune of 1 billion rand.
So, Joe, does the city have programs in place to prevent and mitigate such natural disasters in future?
Yes, we do. We have a lot of programs that we are running. We conduct preparedness programs within our community. Those we determine which one is high risk. So if it's a fire, and if the ward is fire risk, then we go and conduct fire public awareness in those communities. And also we have what is called the disaster management level 2 plan, where stakeholders have a role to play. We have just workshopped that plan in the past 3 weeks, where we've workshopped it to our councillors who are policy makers and decision makers in the metro, We have also done it with our stakeholders, what their role is in terms of disaster management, and also traditional leaders. Because if you look at traditional leaders, there are communities that belong to the, or land that belongs to the traditional leaders, and they need to understand that some of the areas in there under them is not suitable for building. This will prevent long-term damage to the houses that have been built in those particular areas. And also, disaster management is conducting public awareness and also doing early warnings. We give early warnings timelessly to the communities via our communications department, who then communicates via the different media platforms. And also our integrated approach to disaster management. We are looking at building back better after these incidents. So whatever infrastructure that has been damaged, we try and build it back in a way that it is not affected again in the next floods, because we're trying to build resilience within the communities, and also resilient infrastructure, which is critical for disaster management and managing disasters in the future.
Do you have a message maybe for the people who reside in low-lying areas?
Yes, my message to them is, please at all times be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of the early warnings that are issued. Take action when those warnings are issued. As government, we can only do so much, but the rest lies with the communities. If you haven't invaded any land, don't start to invade it, because you do not know why the metro has not developed that area. There are certain reasons why that area is left unattended to, or is left to not accommodate, because it may not be suitable. But if you do land invasions, then you exacerbate the situation of flooding, and also increase the risk on your own life. So I would say, if there is a way, do not invade any land. Secondly, those that are in high risk areas, what exacerbates the situation is the illegal dumping of rubbish on the streets. Please collect your waste, try and recycle. There are recycle areas within the metro which have been allocated and identified. We just need to use them in a manner that we reduce waste, we reuse our waste, so that less waste goes to landfill, which will then assist us in disaster risk reduction initiatives.
Joe, would you like to add anything else?
Yes, I think what I can add is that just a question that I think is hot on the ground is the issue of the Lamontville. The metro is busy demolishing those structures, and the affected community is currently in a safe place, where in a lodge, I would say. And thereafter, those people, the municipality is still trying to find land which is suitable for temporary relocation units, where those people will be placed. And we are working swiftly with national human settlements, provincial human settlements, and other departments to fast track the process, so that those people do not spend longer than a required period where they are. They go home to their houses where they can feel safe. And also, just to add that we urge our communities in the Lamontville areas. We have seen what is happening, or what has happened in that particular area that is demolished. We urge you not to invade that particular land. That land has flooded and people have lost their lives. So please do not invade that particular land.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank
and
you.
for coming through. That was Jotham Khumalo, who is Manager for Disaster Management in the city. My name is Zimbili Mazibuko, and from myself and the rest of the team, it's goodbye. Until next time, don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe.
Thank you.